more guard passing. This one might not be very comfortable. All right, guys. Welcome back to another virtual Jiu-Jitsu fundamentals class. I just wrapped up our virtual kettlebell class moments ago, and I'm still very sweaty from that. So if I'm breathing a little bit hard, then that is why. Mira did not just do it, so she's a little bit more fresh than I am today. And eyelashes look fantastic.
No, they don't. It's horrible.
We're going to keep with our guard passing theme, okay? And I think, again, guard passing is one of the more difficult things to do in jiu-jitsu, especially against a resisting opponent. And it takes a lot of time to get good at these things. And there's a few fundamental passes that we should have in our arsenal. We've covered a few of them already, and we're going to kind of keep looking at some. And before we get into it, I want to just go over a concept that I think is pretty important to understand, and that from an organizational standpoint, sort of like making a mental map of all of these different things that we're trying to do, that there's basically three ways that we can divide our passes into. Or there's a few ways to think about it, but a classic one is you divide it into three ways. You can pass over the person's legs, you can pass around their legs, or you can pass under their legs. So those are the big three: over their legs, around their legs, or under their legs. And we've looked at over their legs a few different ways so far. And Coach Brian last week did an around type pass on Saturday. And then today we're going to be looking at passing under the legs, which there's not quite as many options to do it, but if we can get ourselves there, it's very powerful, and that's what we're going to be looking at doing for today. Okay? So if I have Mira go ahead and let's have you lay on your back here with your head on that side. Yep, something like that. So there's a lot of times in jiu-jitsu where Mira will be on her back and angle a little bit right about there, where Mira will be on her back and I have an opportunity to sort of make it a connection. She doesn't have any grips yet. Maybe I don't have any grips yet. A pretty common thing it might be where I might even be standing up and she has her feet up in the air trying to kind of create a shield, right? She's trying to like tie her feet up to me or whatever, something like that. So there's a bunch of opportunities where I can initiate the connection. And one kind of interesting strategy that I can employ to get me into a position to do this pass is if her feet are up in the air and she's being active, if I can clear them a little bit to the side and dive my hands down to the mat like this. So I've got my hands on the outside position, and so she doesn't have one of my arms in. I don't want to be in a position where I've got one arm in and one arm out, because then she can triangle choke me, right? And I don't want to be both arms in if I can help it, because then she gets the closed guard. And so what I'm trying to do is put both of my hands on the outside position. She doesn't have any armbar attacks. She doesn't have any triangle chokes. She doesn't have any of that from this position. Okay? And once I get here, it's going to be probably a high pressure, high paced battle. But what I'm ultimately looking to do is I want to try to lock my hands like this, and I want to try to apply some inward pressure on her legs. Like try to pull her legs to the midline. She wants to push her knees as wide apart as possible because that makes her legs feel heavy. It's hard for me to manipulate them. So I want her legs pinched in together, and then I'm going to try to drag her up onto my lap. You okay? Okay. So I'm going to try to drag her up onto my lap like this. And now she should feel very stuck. She should feel like her hips are very isolated, and it's hard for her to use her hips very much. You good? Okay. And so now here's where I need to put a lot of pressure. So this is definitely a pressure pass. What I want to do is come forward like I'm trying to fold her knees into her own chest. If we have the gi, I'm going to make a cross grip on the gi and pull in and keep driving her nose toward her face as I spin around the corner and I slide in to my guard pass right here. Okay. So we'll do it again. So her feet are up because she doesn't want me to be able to just step around her legs, right? So if I'm up, she's going to be trying to put her feet on me, make connections. So I'm going to try to make sure that I get my hands to the middle and drop my hands right to the mat like this. Okay? From here, I want to crowd her a lot. I don't want her to slide away and escape. And at the earliest moment, I'm going to try to clasp my hands together. Okay? Now, with her butt on the ground, I can't get that much pressure. So again, I'm going to be trying to like scoop her and lift her up onto my lap so her butt is up off the floor a little bit. Okay? And it's a little bit of a battle, right? I'm trying to squeeze tight. She's trying to make her legs get heavy and escape her legs. And it's very difficult for her. I'm going to apply forward pressure. Okay? If the gi's here, I'm going to make a thumb in grip on her cross collar. And if it's not there, then I would probably just keep my hands locked. But I do want to try to get my weight into her. Obviously, there's a big size difference with Mira and I, so I'm probably keeping my knees on the ground right now. But when we trade, I'll have her take her knees off the ground and apply like proper pressure onto me. Okay? So if the gi's here, go ahead and put your thumb in, and I'm trying to make her knee touch her own face. And once I'm here, I flip her leg over, and I slide right into my pass, and I've got good control from right there. Okay? So let's have Mira give it a shot. So I might be here, something like this. She's standing up. Okay? She makes initial contact probably on my feet, and she kind of moves my feet a little side on my feet. Yes, she moves my feet a little sideways so she can drop her hands. Yes, right to there. So I already feel crowded and stuck. Okay? And so what she's going to try to do is try to clasp her hands together at the lowest part, right by my hip crease. So this is too high, actually. Back up. Back up. So what she wants to do is go as low, right to my hip crease as she can, and then she squeezes. This feels so much better already. Okay? And so now we call this a stack pass, is one of the names for it. So she's trying to stack me up on my shoulders, and now she's in a position where you guys can see her knees are on the mat. So this is how I did it because I'm a lot bigger than Mira and I didn't want to put too much pressure on her. But what Mira is actually going to do is sort of like board out, sort of like a plank, and her feet go backwards and her knees go off of the ground. So all her weight drives into me like I'm a sled and she's doing a sled push. So go ahead. Yeah, like this. And so she's really putting all this pressure onto me. This is very good. Okay. And now she's going to pick a side. Let's say she wants to go toward the camera. So she goes there, tries to drive my knee to my face. Keep this grip. Don't let it go. Okay. You don't have to grab your hand. Pull my leg. And now she's going to sort of shuck my leg by, and she gets the pass. Okay. Let's look at that again. And I'm going to change Mira's grip just a little bit on the last piece to do the same thing that I did, where I did a grip on the collar. So I'll walk her through that as we get to it. So she moves my feet sideways, drops her hands to the mat. Good. She locks as low to the hip crease as possible and squeezes in tight. Okay. For perspective, if we freeze here, for perspective, Mira's going to feel like it's hard to control my legs, especially with me as the bigger person, if I start to go out and down. She'll feel like she has no control. So she wants to be proactive there and keep my legs squeezed in tight together and not let me do that. Okay? So now she's going to kind of pull me up onto her lap. Yes, just like this. Now she's going to get into that, board out plank sled push position. Good. Even more. Drive my knees to my chest. Yes. Okay. Now her left hand is going to make a thumb in grip on this collar right here and pull in, lift my head off of the mat. Yes, this is good pressure. Her right hand is ready to sort of catch my leg, so she's not going to let my leg hit the ground as she walks around, and my leg passes over, and then she gets the pass. All right. And now we're going to teach Mira one of the kind of dirty little tricks of the pass that really you should try to do because it's good technique. So with the gi, we have this collar grip, right? She just put her left thumb into my collar. So when she finishes the pass on this one, can you scoot on camera just a little bit? When she finishes the pass on this one, and square to the camera just a teeny bit, what she's going to do, so she's got this left thumb in the collar right there. So when she finishes the pass on this next one, what she's going to try to do is lay her forearm right across my windpipe and really staple me down to the ground with that one. Okay? I didn't do that to her for some obvious reasons, but it's cool if she does it to me. Okay? So one more time here. She gets into the initial position. Excellent. Scoops my legs up. Squeezes them tight. Yes, she has my butt off the ground. She applies this strong forward pressure. Okay. Now note, see how her knees are off the mat? It feels so good now. Like there's so much pressure compared to before. It didn't feel like very much pressure. So if you're practicing at home or once we get back to sparring, make sure your knees get off the mat. It's so important. Okay. So now she drives forward. Makes her thumb in the collar grip. And remember, she's going to do forearm on the windpipe as she passes. And she's going to think about her elbow touching the mat. Elbow to the mat. No. On the mat. On this side. So you pin me. Yes, there you go. Yeah, we're going to do that one more time. We kind of went to the wrong side. So the one that's holding my the collar. Okay. One more time. So we're in there. Yep. Cinch it in nice and tight. Good. Stack. Good. Knees are off the mat. So she's going to make that grip, and her elbow is going to stay on the camera side as she comes around. Yes. That's perfect. Very good. All right. So that's our basic of our stack pass, one of the best pressure passes in jiu-jitsu. And one of the good things about it too is it's one of the harder guard passes to have the guard player recover from. Some of the other passes, if you're trying to go around their legs or over their legs, if somebody has a high level of flexibility and hip dexterity, it's easier for them to recover off of the pass. And with this style, it is a lot more difficult for them to recover off of the pass. So a lot of benefit to be had from it. If you have any questions on it, go ahead and pop them in the chat right now. We'll see if Mira has any questions. Any questions on that one?
When you were on the top and like pulling my hips up and then smushing me, I felt a lot of pressure on my lower back.
Yeah.
Is that common? And
yeah.
Do you want that?
Yeah, it's a pressure pass, so we're trying to make the person feel very pressured and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant. Remember how I said I kept my knees on the ground to not put full pressure on Mira? Even with my knees on the ground, she still felt a lot of pressure on her low back. If I had applied like the proper pressure, taking my knees off and driving in like we had her do, then it would have been a big difference, I'm sure, what she had felt. And that's one of the reasons that sport jiu-jitsu has weight classes, so that so that Mira's not trying to fight me in a jiu-jitsu match. So good question. There is one other thing that I thought might be good to include today, depending on how we went for time, and I think we've got enough time to sneak this in here. And this is one other way to enter into this pass. Okay? So I'll have Mira go on her back, and we're going to go close guard now. I'm going to back up from the camera. Actually, no, let's go this way. Okay, so we can get into the same pass. We're just going to sort of modify how we do it here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be in Mira's closed guard. And personally, I like this one in the gi better than in no gi. Okay? And I'm going to show you why. So we're in the closed guard. Right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Mira's gi. So I have one hand on each of her lapels, and I'm going to shove them into her armpits. And it's going to slow down her movement. It's going to be hard for Mira to move side to side right now. Do you feel how you're sort of restricted? So it's not going to completely stop her, but it will restrict her as far as her side-to-side movement goes. And then my head's going to go basically right in the middle. Right now it's up so I can talk to the camera. My head's going to go right in the middle, and I'm going to walk my feet way far back. So I'm going to slide back, and she's probably, she feels like her feet are slipping away right now. And so probably what Mira is going to do is move her legs higher up to my shoulders. She's going to sort of unlock and relock. And the farther I slide back, she probably has to do it again, as high as she can possibly go, right? Yep. And so this is what I'm expecting. And now this space that's between my knees and her butt is what I'm going to use to break open the guard. So my head is low, and I'm going to come up to a tippy-toe position. And I'm going to just tippy-toe in until I can put my knee in the middle, like this. Now my knee is popping up, and it's right in between her legs. Let's spin to the camera. So I'm in a position like this. You guys see how my knee is right in the middle? And once my knee's right in the middle like this, one thing I can do is quickly extract my arms back and start to get under her legs like this for the same pass. Now I have a little bit more work to do to be able to come in, scoop them all up, do all that sort of thing again. But I can work my way into this pass that we're learning today or into other passes. But for now, since we already saw the pass, let me show just one more time how to do this break, and then we'll have Mira do it on me. All right, so I'm gonna put my knuckles kind of into her armpits so that what I can do is slide away from her and she can't follow me. Let's spin back to this 90. So I've got my knuckles right into her armpits. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk back as far as I can to make my knees as far away from her butt as I possibly can, okay? And I'm stretching her out. It should be hard for her to move her hips or her legs too much. But she probably wants to keep her legs locked, because if she just unlocks her legs, I would just start to pass her guard from here, okay? So from this position, I go up on my tippy toes, and I tippy toe in. My knee goes right in the middle, and she can't keep her legs locked anymore once my knee comes into this middle position. And I can come try to start scooping under the legs and start looking to do my passes from there. Okay? So let's have Mira give it a try. Okay, so we're in the closed guard. She's gonna open my lapels, shove them right into my armpit. So she wants to really shove them up there. Yep, there you go. And then she's gonna keep her head like real low, okay? And what that's gonna do, and you can even put it like on my chest if you want to. Then she's gonna walk her knees back as far as she can. And what I have to do is I have to start climbing up her back like this, so she can go, if she can go even 2 more inches farther, get every inch that you can, okay? And now she's gonna balance her head sort of on my stomach, right? Like push your forehead into my stomach. Can you reach? Go hard. Yeah, like that. Okay, and now she's gonna make her butt go high in the air. So she's gonna kind of balance on her hands and her head here. And then she's gonna tippy toe in until her foot is right underneath my butt. So she's gonna walk like on a tightrope, like a very narrow walk until her foot is right under my butt and one foot is backwards just a little. And then she pretty much like splits right down the middle as she drops down to her knee. Excellent, and you see how it opens up my legs, because my legs are long enough to fit just around her waist, but if you add her knee into it also, almost nobody's legs are long enough to do that. And so now my legs are forced open really wide, and so Mira can let go of my lapels, reach her hands back under and scoop my legs up, and she can go into the pass. All right, she can go and do the whole thing. So squeeze tight, lift my butt up, drive in, yes. Maybe even get that collar grip, okay? And then do the sort of choke across the neck as you finish. Yes. Oh. 3 points for Mira. That was a good one, actually. That was good pressure and a good choke there, too. So. All right, guys. So I think that's a good stopping point probably for today. If you have any questions, of course, put them into the chats. Do you have any other questions, Mira? Any questions on that one? So, cool. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys tuning in for today. And we've got another class coming at you at 4 o'clock on Thursday. And then, yeah, we'll just kind of keep these going for as long as we can until we can start running regular classes again. So thank you all very much. Have a good rest of your day.
Now I know why people